Welcome to the Valve Studio. This is part 4 of my interview with Fat Willie, aka the Lord Valve. And in this segment, he's talking about finding resonances in amplifiers and how he actually does that. Doing mods on vintage amplifiers and their effect on Americana. He also talks about cables and frequency response. Safety and how they taught him about doing amplifier work in the Army, and particularly what to do with his dog tags. And we end up with a very good discussion about 2-prong chords. So sit back and enjoy. This is part 4. There's 7 of these, and let's turn it over to Lord Valve. How do you find resonances in cabinets and chassis?
There's 2 ways. If you got a guy, who's playing it for you, you might hear something that sticks out,
right?
And you say, "Oh man, what is that?" You got to get in there and torque stuff and push on stuff and see what's loose or what's not loose or what's coupling too well or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other way, of course, you could set it on the bench and use the oscillator, the signal generator,
right,
and just run up and down, and you get a place where you've got a place where it's repeatable, that you can get a resonance there, and then you can just leave it at that frequency,
right,
and go in and torque stuff and tweak stuff and see what you have. I had a guy once that had a Silverface twin reverb, one of the later ones, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Somewhere along in there, Fender stopped using galvanized window screen for shielding underneath the top board.
Oh, okay.
And they went to a piece of aluminum.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that was a bad move.
That thing was...
Oh, I'll tell you why. They stapled it up in there, just like they did with the screen, right?
Yep.
If they had glued it, it probably would have been all right, okay?
Mm-hmm.
But when you hit a sheet of aluminum with a stapler, it puts a dimple in it, and that raises the rest of the sheet.
Okay.
So I had a guy, he brought it in, and I did it up. I did the stuff he wanted done to it, and I fixed the stuff I needed fixed to it. And I'm playing it, and it's got this horrible buzz in it. I'm saying, where the hell, mechanical buzz? I said, where the hell is that coming from?
Right.
I'm looking all over the place. I'm pushing stuff. I'm doing stuff. I couldn't find it. And finally, I was getting ready to give up. So I turned around and I sat down on the guy's amp.
Yeah.
And I played it, and it was gone.
Okay.
I said, hey, now either I'm going to have to put somebody's 300-pound ass on top of this amp, or I'm going to have to find out what that is. And what it was that aluminum sheet in there was buzzing against the top of the chassis. It didn't matter how tight I put the chassis.
Right.
It was in there rattling.
Yeah.
So I ripped that out of there and put what I could get, which was a bronze screen. They don't make galvanized screen anymore, not that I can find.
Mm-hmm.
As a matter of fact, they don't even make bronze. It's all plastic now.
Okay.
But I put that in there, and man, that just cured it like you wouldn't believe. And I found a lot of those Silverface amps with the aluminum plate in there. They do that.
Oh, do they?
You gotta jerk it out of there, pull it out.
Yeah.
It's the only thing that'll fix it.
You run it you put your signal generator on a sine wave, or you run a square wave through
Sine.
You just do a sine to find the frequency?
Yeah, a square wave is it's too sharp, man. It's too... you use a square wave, you're going to be getting artifacts from driving the amp too hard.
Okay. So you probably repaired hundreds or thousands of amplifiers.
I don't know if it's hundreds of thousands, but it's
hundreds or thousands.
Okay, it's thousands.
Okay, and what's your philosophy on doing mods on the original designs?
Most of them are not worth doing, I think. Some things I'd be more inclined to put in a better quality part of the same value.
Mm-hmm.
Like pull out noisy carbon comp resistors and put in high quality noiseless metal films,
Yeah.
And some mods. Well, here's the thing. If a guy's got a vintage amp, a real nice one, an old brown face or something like that, white Fender, tweed, blackface. And the guy's coming in with, a whole fistful of articles he printed out from the internet, and what he wants is going to require drilling 3 holes in the amp, and stuff. I said, no, look, I'm not going to do this.
Okay.
I'm not going to help you kill this valuable piece of Americana.
All right. Right.
But then other things, like if somebody's got like Blues Junior or one of those tweed wannabe things that they build now, who cares?
Okay.
They're going to be in the landfill in 15 years anyway, man. They're not built to last.
So you just what about changing the capacitors to change the frequency?
You mean like in the tone stack and stuff
Yeah.
like that? Yeah, you can do that. I mean, and sometimes it's beneficial and sometimes it's not.
People come in and they're like, "It doesn't have enough low end. Can you tweak something?" I
So-
read this article.
Sometimes you can.
Yeah. But
Sometimes you can't do it because there's not enough power in the output stage to take advantage of the extra stuff you're trying to put through it.
okay.
Or the speaker isn't mean enough,
Sure. It doesn't matter. It might not even matter because the frequency response to the speakers are going to.
It'll be outside the pass band of a guitar.
Okay. Well, there's that.
Yeah, and people who buy these super duper cables,
Yeah.
that are flat from DC to X-rays,
Right.
and if you look at the pass band of a typical guitar speaker,
Right.
it goes from maybe 60 hertz to 6K.
If you're lucky, yeah.
If you're lucky, yeah.
Right.
If you're lucky,
Right.
you're not going to get. I don't care how good your cable can pass, 200 kilohertz.
Yeah.
It's just simply not going to make any damn difference.
Yeah.
But musicians are vain about their ears, and that's the way wires like that get sold.
I know.
The guy at Guitar Center says, "Twang! Can't you hear that? Oh hell yeah! Give me one."
This has been going on.
I know.
This whole discussion is what fueled all the audiophile market for decades.
Audio fools. Audio fools. AUDIOPHOOL. Audio fool. I know them well.
What? So there's all these people out there, and they're publishing a lot of YouTube videos, and they go through this rigmarole, and most of them that you're working with high voltage, use at your own risk, and do safety procedures, and some of them are actually pretty good, and if they talk about what they do.
Yeah, I've seen a few good ones. Really.
But is there like training videos from the Army or Navy or something specifically about technician safety in working with tube electronics?
There probably is. The only thing they told us, we never saw one. Mm-hmm. And of course, this was in like 1968. So the only thing they told us was, you're going to work on something that's got high voltage in it. A, you got to take the dog tags off.
Right.
Okay, because they could spill out of your shirt and fall into the chassis, and then you'd be toast. And B, you got to put your left hand in your pocket.
Okay.
So you don't ground and shoot the juice through your heart.
Yep.
And that's basically all they told us. I mean, they told us, look, some of these things you got 10,000 volts, transmitter tubes and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. You get across that, and you're going to die.
Okay.
They just put it that way. They don't hint. They didn't hint at anything back then. Okay.
Okay, but when you went through that training and did that kind of work, did it get like muscle memory for you, or when you fire up something here, do you have to consciously remember to put your hand in your pocket?
I almost never put my hand in my pocket, but I don't get shocked much, so
okay.
I'm careful.
And is there anything beyond that you do?
If I'm working on something nasty, like an SVT, which has got 750 volts in it, yeah, I'll stick my hand in my pocket. Because, no matter how careful you are,
you're going to get something.
You could screw up,
But are there other things you do? Like your bench here is a wood bench with some type of rug on top.
Yeah.
And you have this here because you were wearing the rug corner off?
Yeah, I was busting the front of the bench, stuffing stuff up onto it, so I put a piece of aluminum angle there.
Okay.
It's about time for a new rug. This one is like, it's falling apart.
You'd have to move everything then.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I can't stand that.
All right. Do you always replace 2-wire AC cords?
Yes.
That come in.
Unless the guy absolutely won't let me do it, and I tell him, look, man, we have a word for people like that. It's called dumbass. You're going to get zapped, man.
Right. Yep.
Well, yeah, I got zapped a couple of, well, duh.
They don't even want to put a polarized two-pronger on there.
That won't help.
Because electrical
Because you can't count on it being wired right wherever you go.
Yeah.
You know? And, just, as a cautionary tale, or actually just a tale, all those Fender amps, every single one of them that had a 2-wire AC socket on it, that had the large and small slots for polarization, every single one of them was wired backwards.
Oh, well, that's it.
You can't find one that's wired right.
Okay. Because there's a lot of people out there still doing stuff, and one of the people that are responsible they don't even want to work on it. You have to agree to switch out that cord. They're not going to.
Well, that's what I tell the guys. Look, man, it's really stupid to leave it here. I don't care about the vintage value. If you want the vintage value, here's what you do.
Yep.
I replace your the 2-wire line cord with the 3-wire grounded line cord. I get rid of what they call the death cap.
Yep.
And as a matter of fact, I got a whole sack full of them sitting over here somewhere. You never can tell.
Yeah.
And I tell them, I'll give you the old line cord. We'll put it in a plastic bag.
Okay.
And if you ever go to sell the amp, you can say, well, here's the original line cord. This ratty thing that's fallen to pieces, it's all tied up in knots and stuff,
Yeah.
But if you've got to have that, if you think there's some mojo attached to that stupid piece of wire,
Right.
Well, here, we'll put it in a plastic bag there, and that way I won't have to worry about you frying your ass in some nightclub with poorly wired stuff,
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's definitely a good thing to do.